What's up, y'all? Cosmic Cage back again with another episode. And like we talked about, we're going to continue with these reaction videos. So I'm not going to waste too much time. Let's get right into the video.
Where do people go to date now? Does anybody know?
I always tell people to go where you like to be and see who else is in there. That's how you find like-minded individuals. That's how you find people that like to do the same things that you do. You already are starting at a level of compatibility if you do that. And
Gotcha.
you get to read somebody's real energy in person. See if they know how to have a conversation with you. People on apps are socially awkward, and I don't like that.
That makes sense. Like if you enjoy karaoke, for example, go to freaking karaoke bars and clubs and whatnot.
You're looking for the one person out of billions of people, which means you have to kiss a lot of frogs. You can't get disappointed when you've gone on a couple dates and it's 2 weeks into this journey and you've been on 3 dates and now it's like the world is coming to an end. You're looking for the one.
Right.
I honestly believe every person has a one. That person that is their person. You just take time to find them, and anything that's worth finding takes time.
And keep being exactly who you are. When I say show up as your true self, like don't dim your light. Don't dim your achievements. Don't dim who you are, because then you're going to end up in the wrong pool of people.
All right. So you see there's several different topics I want to kind of cover in that video. Some of these I've talked about before, some of these are new things, but I think there's a lot of important things in that video that we can cover today and learn from. The first one, which is what they were talking about, was where do you meet people to date? And I think this is something that took me far too long to learn, and something I've probably learned within the last couple of years. And it's something that's very important to help not only just finding the right one, but just to have better quality dating experiences. Because you're gonna date a bunch of people. You're gonna have to go through a bunch of different things in order to get to the person, as they talked about in this video. So the goal is to have a pleasurable dating experience and not necessarily always find the right one, right? Because that's not gonna happen. So you should definitely meet people in places that you are interested in. I spent so much time, especially in the beginning, meeting people in like clubs and bars, and like that was the main source, and dating apps were the main source of where I dated people from. And it took me so long to realize that when I had all these issues, where was the common things coming from? And the crazy part about it is that when I look back and I looked at all my girlfriends, I never met any of my girlfriends in the club or in the bar. And you would think that this is very obvious to think of now, but when you're going through this, especially like in your 20s and early 30s, you spend a lot of time in these places. So it's gonna be drinks there, there's attractive people, they're looking their best. It's hard not to, right? But what you have to understand is like the quality of life that you necessarily want, and your dating life is a part of that. And I had to understand that not necessarily, okay, the bar and the club is probably my main source of dating. I need to find activities and things that I enjoy, because now we have a lot more things in a common ground. Like at the bar and drinks, I don't know if that's necessarily a place to bond over something or someone. You know, you might meet someone there and have a conversation and y'all realize you have a lot of interests, but generally speaking, it's not really a place where you would find people and bond over things. So like they said here, like if you into sports, join a sports league, you know, and I always say on top of like the things you like, you want to find people that are productive with their lives. So on top of meeting people in places that you enjoy, always look for places that are very productive. So even things like charity work, you know, there's different areas that you can actually find better sources of people to date. And it not necessarily have to be in the common places that other people do it. Because at the end of the day, you want someone to like you for you and not where they met you, right? And that's one of the big things that I always talk about and I stress on all the time, about where you meet people and how that influences a lot of your dating life. So that is one. The second one that they talked about in there was, he said you got to kiss a lot of ugly frogs. And I kind of went over it a little before. That's just dating. Like, you're gonna get upset. You're gonna have good situations, you're gonna have bad situations. There's no way to really avoid a negative dating experience. The best thing you do is you learn from it, you pick up on things earlier, and you learn some things on how to handle things better going forward. You can't beat yourself up every dating experience because it's going to be a tough road ahead. So spend that time understanding, what did I have to take from this situation? What did I take from this dating experience? What did I take from this relationship? And then factor that into the new experience. And every time you do that, you become a better person. Because on top of, kissing a bunch of ugly frogs, what you're doing is you're building a lot of good skill sets so that when you finally meet the right person, you're not just starting to work on these things. These are things that you've been working on for a while, right? I always talk about this when I meet any young lady that I'm talking to. I don't look for the perfect person now. I just look for someone who is willing to progress, learn, and grow within the context of our dating experience. If you start off with average communication skill, but you build it up to have solid, the good ones, and we had a conversation about it, it shows me that you are willing to listen, adapt, and grow and not take anything negative. Versus someone who starts with average communication skills and just stay there the whole time. You're not showing anything really. So I always talk about hey, understand the experience is really just about you just getting the reps in. You need to do that. With any skill set, you just need to do it over and over again. And the other part of that is you got to know when, hey, maybe you need to take a break. Like every sport, every game has an off season, right? So sometimes maybe dating 12 months out the year is probably not for you. Maybe you take 1, 2, 3 months, whatever it is, for you to take up some time off, some mental healing. Obviously, as a guy, you're spending money too, so you could ease your pockets a little bit. But understanding how long is my off season is also very important, because you'll come back to every dating experience refreshed. And I think that's very important. And the final point that we are going to cover was the one where it's don't dim your light, be you. And this was another thing that I had to work on a lot, especially when it goes through the dating experience, because any guy who watches what dating is now, or who has been on both sides, can tell you that toxic and bad behavior is rewarded, right? So being toxic, being bad, doing things that are not conducive to a healthy relationship will actually sometimes reward you better than being a good person. And if you are naturally a good person, you should not try to act bad or be the bad boy to get more women, because at the end of the day, you might get more women, but you're not going to get the women for you. And there's this saying that I recently heard that I really love. It's the happiest people aren't the people with the most options, but the ones that are satisfied with their choices. You can talk to a bunch of people and you could fake you're this person, and in that change, you are losing who you are bit by bit, rather than being who you are, talking to people that love you or like you for who you are, and then having a better, pleasurable experience. Yeah, that might result in less people, but it also results in less stress. So don't let anybody make you feel like you're too weird or you're too kind or all these other things that are associated with being a good guy. You just have to understand, set boundaries, right? Be very communicative. And if they don't understand that, it's not the right one for you. So don't try to act like a rapper or athlete or somebody you see on IG who looks like their lives are great, because that is all imaging. And what's on IG or on social media is not necessarily what their lifestyle is all the time. So don't just get caught up in that. You gotta be you, and you gotta be you in an efficient and mature way. So just because it's being you don't mean I'm gonna be a kid on the whole date. You can be a childful, playful soul, but you have to know when and where to do it, right? It's proper etiquette. It's just like when you go to work. You could be a childish, playful soul, but you're not going to be at work the whole time, right? That's not conducive for your success. And it's the same thing with dating. So understanding these 3 things are going to help your dating life tremendously. And a little sidebar, I used to train with DeVell. This was funny. I used to train with him back when I was in college, getting ready for college football. So to see him to transition from a trainer into this podcast lane, and I'm kind of taking a similar route too, is very interesting to watch. But that was definitely very good advice in that video. And I definitely hope that you took something from that and from the things that I've said to help ease your life and improve the quality of your dating experience. Other than that, Cosmic Cage out.